What if I told you? The man who built a $500 billion empire was scammed for $20,000, rejected by KFC, and had never touched a computer until age 31. Sounds like a movie, right? It's not. This is the real story of Jack Ma, the billionaire who turned rejection, failure, and humiliation into one of the greatest comebacks in business history. Jack Ma failed over 30 times, got laughed at, ignored, but he didn't quit. He changed one thing that most people ignore: his mindset. Because here's the truth: most people lose the battle before it even begins, in their minds. They play small, they give up. But Jack? He trained his mind to think like a warrior. And when asked about this, Jack Ma once said, "Today is hard, tomorrow will be worse, but the day after tomorrow is sunshine." Talking about the mindset, he goes on to say, "Let me start by saying something that may shock you. The difference between you and the person you admire most is not talent. It's not luck. It's not money. It's mindset." I've seen this truth play out in my life over and over again. When I started Alibaba, I didn't have connections, I didn't have money, I didn't even understand how the internet worked very well. But I had one thing that many others didn't. I believed it was possible. That belief didn't come from books, it came from failure. You see, mindset isn't something you're born with, it's something that's forged through fire. I failed my university entrance exams twice. I applied for 30 different jobs and got rejected. Even KFC turned me down. But every rejection taught me something about how to think. The poor mindset says, "I can't." The growth mindset says, "I will find a way." Let me be honest with you. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It doesn't care if you're tired, broken, lost, or confused. It comes at you anyway. Sometimes it hits you so hard you don't even recognize yourself afterward. You look in the mirror and see someone who failed, someone who gave it their all and it still wasn't enough, someone who once had fire in their eyes but now barely has the strength to get out of bed. I know that feeling. I've lived it. The world will break you. That's almost guaranteed. The real question is, will you rebuild? When I was younger, people laughed at me. I failed many times: school, job applications, business pitches. I applied to 30 jobs. Every single one rejected me. Even KFC didn't want me. I wasn't talented. I wasn't rich. I wasn't smart in the traditional sense. But I had one thing that most people gave up on too soon. I had belief. Not belief that I was the best. Not belief that I'd win quickly, but belief that if I just kept rebuilding after every failure, eventually I'd become unstoppable. Not by force, but by patience, resilience, and clarity. Rebuilding doesn't mean pretending the pain didn't happen. It means standing in front of the wreckage and saying, "Okay, this is what's left." The difference between the two is not intelligence, it's mental courage. It's the decision to show up even after everyone says you can't do it. Most people never achieve anything in life, not because they are weak, but because they've trained their minds to expect failure. They've accepted the lie that they are not good enough. And once you accept that lie, you stop trying. You don't need the best education. You don't need a fancy degree. What you need is a mindset that refuses to stay down. When life punches you, you must punch back mentally first before you can rise physically or financially. Mindset is everything because it shapes how you see every challenge. When we were building Alibaba, we were broke. No investors believed in us. We worked in a small apartment in Hangzhou, drinking cheap tea and dreaming big. But we kept telling ourselves one day the world will know our name. That's the power of mindset. It lets you see light when everyone else sees darkness. It lets you hear the music when others only hear noise. It allows you to build a castle with broken bricks. In the early days, people laughed at me. They said, "Jack, you are an English teacher. You don't know technology. Why do you think you can build an internet company?" And I said, "Exactly. Because I don't know what's not possible. I'm willing to try. The biggest prison in the world is not outside, it's in your mind. The chains are made of doubt, fear, insecurity. The key is belief. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. Not your parents, not your teachers, not your investors. Most people are trained to protect themselves from pain. But in business, in life, in dreams, pain is a teacher. You are not broken. You are under construction. Rock bottom is not the end, it's the foundation. They left. You failed. Now rebuild like a warrior. Rebuild yourself. Jack Ma further says, let's begin again. Most people run from the ruins of their life. They try to escape, avoid, distract, numb themselves. They scroll through social media, chase shallow pleasures, or blame the world, but nothing changes. You can't rebuild anything if you keep looking away. You have to face the silence. You have to sit with the discomfort. You have to look at your brokenness not as a curse, but as a construction site, your new beginning. The truth is, most people want to grow, but they don't want to change. You say you want a new life, but you don't want to let go of your old habits. You say you want to rebuild, but you're still holding on to people and patterns that keep pulling you down. Growth is uncomfortable. Rebuilding is painful. It means leaving parts of yourself behind, parts that feel familiar. But the version of you that got destroyed is not the version that will rise. You need to become new, not by magic but by intention, by choice. And the most important choice you will ever make is this: to take responsibility. Not just for your wins but for your losses. Not just for your dreams but for your discipline. The world is full of people with potential, but potential means nothing without execution. I wasn't the most skilled founder. I didn't even know how to write code, but I knew how to take responsibility for my dream. Every time something failed, I didn't look for someone to blame. I looked inward. Your mindset must learn to turn pain into fuel, not fear. When you stop fearing failure, you begin to succeed. I used to walk into rooms where nobody respected me. They spoke in business language I didn't understand, but I sat quietly, listened, learned, and told myself one day they will listen to me. And they did. That's mindset. When you have a poor mindset, you wait for opportunity. When you have a strong mindset, you create opportunity. You knock on doors until someone opens, and if no one opens, you build your own door. People often say, "Jack, what if I fail?" And I say, "What if you succeed?" Most people don't realize how small their dreams are until they meet someone who has a bigger mindset. So stretch your mind, stretch your thinking. Your limits are lies. Do not be afraid to start small. I started with 20,000 raised from friends. But my vision was global. That mindset, not the money, is what made Alibaba what it is today. Here's a secret. Most people are not successful because they give up too soon. They have microwave minds in a world that requires open patience. Success is slow cooked. Mindset is the fire that keeps it burning. Your background is not your limit. I came from a poor family. I was not born into wealth or power, but I refused to let that become my ceiling. I saw my background as fuel, not a curse. If your mind is stuck in the past, your future will never move forward. Mindset means being able to see beyond what happened yesterday and focus on what you can build today. You must train your mind like a muscle. If you only think positive when things are easy or weak, true mindset shows up when everything is falling apart and you still move forward. When I faced my biggest failures, like when Yahoo pulled out of the deal, the IPO was delayed, I didn't cry or complain. I focused my mind on the next move. That's the mindset of a warrior, not a worrier. You don't need approval to have a dream. You don't need permission to grow. Mindset gives you internal permission to be more, even when others see you as less. Some of you are living small, not because you lack potential, but because you think small. Change the way you think, and you'll change the size of your life. When I was in school, I was one of the worst students in math. But I believed that business was not about being the smartest. It was about being the most mentally persistent. I never gave up. That's the only reason I'm here. Remember, this talent can take you to the door, but mindset is what pushes it open. I've hired many smart people, but the ones who grow are the ones who never say, "I can't." Do not fear being the underdog. The underdog who believes will always defeat the favorite who doubts. This world rewards those who think they can, even when they are not supposed to. Mindset gives you the power to stand alone. There were times I stood alone in boardrooms, on stages, in meetings, but I didn't shrink because I knew what I believed. That belief was louder than their doubt. Most people think mindset is motivation. No, motivation is temporary. Mindset is discipline. It is the daily decision to act, even when you don't feel inspired. I've seen rich people with poor minds, and I've seen poor people with rich minds. Guess who wins in the end? The one who believes longer, harder, deeper. Mindset means falling 7 times and standing up 8. I was rejected more times than I can count. But rejection doesn't define you. Your response to it does. You are not too late. You are not too poor. You're just one mindset shift away from a new life, but that shift must happen inside first. Your environment can be tough. People around you might not believe in dreams, but if your mind is strong, no environment can stop you. A seed doesn't complain about the soil. It just grows through it. Some of you are waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting. Mindset means moving even when it's failing or lonely. The world rewards action, not hesitation. Your excuses are not facts. They are just thoughts you've repeated long enough to believe. Change those thoughts. What could I do better? What could I learn? Where could I grow? That mindset is the foundation of rebuilding. Now let me be real with you. Rebuilding is boring. It's not exciting. It's not flashy. It's not Instagrammable. It's early mornings when you don't want to wake up. It's late nights when no one claps for you. It's repeating the same small habits every single day without seeing results for weeks, sometimes months. But this is where real transformation happens. Success doesn't come from one big moment. It comes from thousands of small, invisible wins that no one sees while others are looking for shortcuts. You're laying bricks one after another. In the beginning, people won't support you. That's normal. Even your closest friends might not believe in your journey. Don't get bitter. Don't beg. Don't explain yourself. Just build. Let your results speak for you. When I started Alibaba, I had no money, no support, just a small group of people who shared the same crazy vision. We worked in my apartment. No air conditioning, no salary, no recognition. But we had belief. And belief, when combined with action, becomes power. Too many people are addicted to motivation. They wait to feel ready. But motivation fades. Rebuilding doesn't require motivation. It requires discipline. You show up when you're tired. You work when it's hard. You keep going when no one notices. Because you know that behind every overnight success is 1,000 silent nights of struggle. There were nights when I cried. Nights when I questioned everything. Nights when I thought I was a fool. But I didn't stop. I couldn't stop. Because I made a promise to myself. I will rebuild no matter what. You don't need a lot to rebuild. You don't need a rich family. You don't need fancy degrees. You don't need to be a genius. What you need is to start. Start where you are. Use what you have. Believe in what you're building. That's how I did it. I used the little I had, my English, my communication, my optimism, and I turned it into a vision that grew beyond my imagination. Challenge those lies. Replace them with power. People ask me how I stayed strong in times of crisis. The truth is, I didn't always feel strong, but my mindset was trained to keep going. I didn't rely on emotion. I relied on vision. Success is not an accident. It's a mindset built from habits, from beliefs, from daily courage. Every day you feed your mind with doubt, you weaken your future. Every day you feed it with belief, you build a new one. Mindset is everything because life will not always go your way. But if your mind is right, your spirit will never break. You can bend, but you won't snap. Look around you. Everything you see was once an idea in someone's mind, a building, a phone, a company, a brand. It all started in someone's head. So what's in you yours? If you don't control your mind, the world will control it for you. Social media, failure, fear, they will hijack your brain. If you don't lead it, you must take the wheel. No matter what stage you are in, remind yourself, you are not here to survive. You are here to build, to impact, to grow. And all of that begins with the right mindset. I've learned that your competitors are not your biggest enemy. Your limited thinking is. You can outwork and outlast anyone if your mindset is resilient. When others see problems, train your mind to see opportunity. Every crisis is a chance for those who are bold enough to think differently. Some people will laugh at your dreams. That's okay. That means your dream is big enough. Protect it. Feed it. Let your mindset be your armor. Your results in life are a reflection of your internal story. What are you telling yourself every day if it's weakness? Change the script. Tell yourself something stronger. You can have 100 mentors, but if your mindset is still fearful, nothing will change. The best mentor in the world is your inner voice. Train it to push you, not pity you. I am standing here today not because I am special, but because I decided long ago to stop letting failure control my thinking. That decision, not my resume, changed my life. In the end, your life will be shaped by one thing, not your job, not your luck, not your bank account, but your mindset. And the good news is mindset is free. You can build it starting today. So I ask you, not as Jack Ma, the businessman, but as a man who once failed the college entrance exam twice, what are you waiting for? Change your mind and you'll change your world. Because in this life, one truth remains. Mindset is everything. People think success is about brilliance. It's not. It's about relentless rebuilding. Quiet, patient, consistent effort. But remember this to rebuild yourself. You have to let go of the person who keeps breaking you. That may mean changing your environment. That may mean cutting ties with people who constantly doubt you, mock you, or drain your energy. That may mean giving up comfort for a while. But if you truly want to rebuild, you cannot carry the weight of your old life into your new one. Rebuilding is about freedom. And freedom often comes after sacrifice. So ask yourself, what are you willing to give up to become who you were meant to be? Sometimes the hardest part is not the work, it's the silence. Rebuilding happens in silence. While others are partying, you're planning. While others are wasting time, you're learning. While others are distracted, you're focused. And they won't see it. They won't understand. They might even laugh. But one day they'll ask you how you did it and you'll smile because you'll know that you built something real while they chased things that didn't last. Rebuilding also means forgiving yourself. Yes, you made mistakes. Yes, you wasted time. Yes, you trusted the wrong people. But holding on to regret doesn't change anything. You must forgive yourself, not because you deserve to forget, but because you deserve to move forward. You can't build a new life if you're still punishing yourself for the old one. Learn the lesson, take the wisdom, and leave the pain behind. That's how you begin again. And as you rebuild, redefine your definition of success. Success is not money, fame, or status. Those are side effects. True success is waking up every day with clarity, peace, and purpose. It's knowing who you are and living in alignment with your values. It's doing meaningful work that helps others. It's becoming the person you use to admire. That's the real goal. And the path to it begins the moment you decide to stop surviving and start rebuilding. I rebuilt myself through failure, through humiliation, through rejection, and I still rebuild every day. Because no matter how far you go, there's always another level, another challenge, another version of yourself waiting to be discovered. You never truly arrive. You just keep evolving. And that's beautiful, because if you're constantly rebuilding, you're constantly becoming. So wherever you are right now, if you're broke, if you're lost, if you're doubting yourself, take a breath. Look around. This is not your ending. This is your construction site. You are under development. Lay the first brick today, and then the next, and then another. Quietly, consistently, and one day, maybe in 1 year, maybe in 5, the world will look at you and say, "Where did this person come from?" And you'll know. You came from the ashes. You rebuilt yourself. If you've ever hit rock bottom, felt abandoned, or questioned your worth, this speech is for you. This isn't just a message, it's a blueprint. Whether you've been rejected, humiliated, or are stuck in silence, it's time to stop surviving and start rebuilding.